G'day throttlers, welcome back to the channel. Today's video is an interview that I did last Thursday with a gentleman called Des Hughes. Now Des is the founder of KENOATH Clothing here in Australia, a great Australian company. And it's a clothing range and an apparel range that's based around Australian lifestyle. So Australian classic cars, beach life, all of that. So in this interview, it'll bring you all of the emotions. There'll be inspiration, there'll be happiness, there'll be a little bit of sadness in there. In fact, I did shed a tear, but all in all, great guy, really exciting company. I do invite you to go and check out KENOATH Clothing, and if it's something that interests you, buy some stuff, help this company grow and stick it to all of those internationals. Anyway, roll the interview. Thanks for being here. G'day throttlers, welcome back to the channel. Now I've got a very exciting guest for you. You guys have seen me wearing my KENOATH gear in the past, a great Aussie company. This is Des, Mr. KENOATH, in Sydney town down from Queensland, and he's sparing us a few minutes to have a chat and bring some knowledge and some experience to you guys. So Des, welcome mate, thank you.
Thanks Rob, mate, it's an absolute pleasure to be here. It's been about 10 years since I've been in Cronulla, so
yeah, right.
I was getting some memories coming down the street and it was great. I was driving through Rockpool when you rang and said, "How are you travelling?" And I saw something that just reminded me how good Sydney and Cronulla is. There was this bloke, probably in his mid-60s, walking along in Speedos, a pair of jogging shoes, brown as a berry,
yeah.
And I've gone, there's a bloke that just you know, doesn't care about what people think about him. 2 metres behind him is a bloke of about the same age, yeah, dressed up to the nines with a mask on.
Awesome, yeah.
And I'm going, you know, this is such a melting pot, this place. And I just thought the guy in the front is probably a KENOATH wearer, you know,
yeah,
like
yeah,
that's what we're all about, you know,
yeah,
not giving a shit about what people think about you.
Yeah.
And it's just, and then I meet you, it's just been a great day.
Yeah, awesome, awesome. So let's go back to the beginning.
Yeah.
How did KENOATH come about right from the start?
Well mate, it goes back quite a while. I came up with the idea for an Australian brand way back in 2006, and at that stage a lot of the surf shops were gobbled up by the big corporates, or they just disappeared because the big corporates were putting surf shops in the shopping malls,
right, and
selling against the people that they grew off the back of.
Yeah.
You know, and we were losing all the little surf shops along the coastline with their own little screen printed shirts, and
yep, yeah,
it was just like all of a sudden, you know, there's 3 or 4 big surf brands that just everyone was wearing them.
Yeah.
You know, in the meantime, I loved cars and that kind of thing, and all of a sudden you're getting all this American stuff coming over, and I thought, what's happening with Australia? Why aren't we wearing Aussie clothes?
Yep.
So I came up with the name, well, KENOATH came to me because it was such a colloquial name that we all love and use.
Yeah.
And that's the funny thing about KENOATH is how often you actually use it, you don't know it until you find out
that's
about
true,
it.
Yeah.
And yeah, mate, so I trademarked the brand. But didn't really do anything with it for about 3 years.
Right.
So we printed our first shirts and went to a market, and then opened up the site. But yeah, then we've had a second renaissance about 9 months ago. We started it up again. So we had a bit of a break.
So I'm curious about the image on the first shirt. What was it and what inspired it?
Yeah, I knew I had to come up with 4 designs that really represented where we're at. So for me, it was the Holden Sandman.
Yep.
You know, you can't get any more iconic and I suppose recognisable than the Sandman.
Yep.
And I also wanted to have a really strong street car.
Yep.
So we chose the Holden Monaro, which has just got the most beautiful lines. You know, the old Monaro. And then more 2 sort of surf-inspired tees. So we sort of went with those. And it's funny, the first market that we actually attended was Grease Fest,
right,
up in Brizzy at the Rockley Showgrounds, and it was more of a hot rodders and you know, kind of that kind of market. Yep. But we actually sold a few shirts. We sold a few Monaro shirts that day, yeah, and of course people were coming up and going, "Does it really mean that?" And I'm going, "Fuck no." And people was like, so yeah, we went home that I think we made $330 that day.
Yeah, yeah.
And my wife and I spent it at the pub on the way home.
beautiful. That's the win.
Yeah, so it started building momentum, and we thought, yeah, this has got some legs.
Yeah, awesome. And for you international people, I know that I've got a lot of American followers, a Sandman van, actually I'll flash a photo up on the screen right now, but a Sandman van was a panel van. It was very iconically Australian. It was also called a shaggin' wagon. There was all sorts of mischief that people got up to in the back of them. Obviously though, you could fit a surfboard in there, but you could also fit multiple people in there if you get my drift.
And there's quite a few 35 to 40-year-olds that are being conceived in the back of a panel van.
That's true. Whether the parents admit it or not.
Exactly right. So we've it's definitely had a few nicknames, the old panel van. And you know, even this trip coming down the coast, they're still out there. They're
very rare, but they're still out there.
Yeah, they're still out there. We did a photo shoot Monday afternoon, and it was a HK wagon, and the guy said, "Oh mate, I've got a mate that might turn up with a car." And I said, "Oh yeah," and so that was a Ford Zephyr, and then he gives me another text, and he says, "Oh, we've got a Cadillac coming." "Oh, okay, Cadillac, yep." And another message, we've got an XWGT coming.
Wow.
And then we ended up 7 vehicles.
Yeah, right.
And mate, these guys, they all live in, we kind of had a joke about it. We said, I won't tell people where this spot is.
Yeah.
We called it Spot X, you know. And but yeah, all the guys are just normal. They've worked hard all their lives, and they've just got great machines, and they bloody use them. Yeah. You know, they're not putting them in cotton wool.
They're a driving car. Yeah. They're built to drive.
Yeah.
Yeah, very cool.
Yeah.
Tell me about the bobsled team. I saw the Australian bobsled team on your website.
Wow, the bobsled team. I got a phone call. Well, actually, I got a text from the wife of one of my very good mates, and she said, "I've just met a guy from the Australian bobsled team in a bar in Calgary, and they were over there on a trip." And I said, "Oh yeah." And anyhow, I ignored it. But when they returned home, my mate Rowdy said to me, "Mate, you got to meet this guy. He's a ginger nut. Yeah. He's built like a brick shithouse, and he's the real deal. He's over there trying to get into the Winter Olympics." I said, "What? It sounds like the Cool Runnings movie, from with John Candy." Yeah. And I thought about it for a while, and I thought, wow, what a really cool story. And what it was, his name was Heath Spence, and he was basically in the university system over there and was really keen. He's a bloody ex-rugby union player. Yep. But the difference he was telling me is the difference between the top teams in the world is a 15th of a second. Right. But the real difference is in the sled. Right. So the guys that get to the Olympics and the finals have got $100,000 sleds. Yeah. An old mate from Australia who's drinking piss and the uni over there, he's in a $5,000 sled. Well, they're borrowing sleds. Yeah. No money coming from Australia to get them. And I thought, we've got to be able to do something. Yeah. And I thought, you know, you're always looking for that thing that might make your brand go ballistic. For sure. And I rang him up and I said, "Mate, how about we print a t-shirt? And I don't know whether we'll sell 2 of these things, or 200 or 2,000. And mate, all the profit goes to your sled." He goes, yeah, let's do that. Yeah. So anyhow, so we did up a design, and it was a boxing kangaroo. Yeah, right. In the back of the sled. And I printed it up, and it just looked magic, mate. Yeah. So we flew down to Sydney to meet the guys training, and to get them all together, take some shots to try and build it, you know, for social media. Anyhow, there's a lady there from the Australian Olympic Committee, and she goes, "Can you email me the photo of your shirt?" And I'm going, yeah, no worries. And she rings me back the next day, and she goes, "You can't use the boxing kangaroo image because we hold the rights for it." Oh, right. And I said, "Yeah, but we're trying to raise money for your team to get in the Winter Olympics." She goes, no, you can't do that." Wow. I go, okay. So we redesigned the shirt, and it had 4 guys in the back, you know, and it looked okay. Like, it's still a really cool design. We'll put it up later. Yeah, sure. But yeah, the boxing kangaroo, I thought, man, we're going to sell millions of these. But we couldn't use it. It was really interesting. So we ended up selling about 350 t-shirts. Right. And we didn't get them all the way to getting the Dream Sled, but it really gave them a hand. Yep. And I can't remember, mate. I think they picked up a sled for about 20 grand. Yeah, okay. And they qualified for the Sochi Olympics. Right. So just to qualify, like, you're still only that far out of the top 10, like. Yeah. And they qualified and had a ball. But
and like the Jamaican team, there's not exactly any bobsled tracks here to practice on.
Absolutely not. Yeah. But yeah, we got some really cool photos. The old KENOATH logo on the side of the sled, and it was a bit of fun, mate. It was good.
So from the time that KENOATH started to today, now you've only relaunched the brand a short time ago. There's a bit of a hiatus in there.
There was.
Yeah. So what happened in that time, and why did you decide to relaunch again?
Mate, I don't mind telling the story in depth. It's pretty open about it, but we were flying along there for 3 years, but I was doing KENOATH part-time. So I had a full-time job. I was working interstate, flying interstate a lot, and running KENOATH in my part-time. So, you know, I'd be there packing orders at 1 a.m. in the morning, getting on Facebook, and, you know, it took a lot of effort, but that's what business is all about. Doing a lot of travel. The brand was really starting to tick along. People loved it. But my father became ill. And he was designated with cancer, lung cancer, and it was pretty serious. You know, and I think from that moment, something switched in me, and, you know, not long after that, I lost my best mate, my mentor, my hero, my father, and I lost my shit. And, you know, I started drinking, and I kept in a full-blown depression. You know, something had to give, you know, and KENOATH wasn't at the stage where it could give me a full-time wage. So I had to put all my effort into my full-time job, which is the right thing at the time. And I just parked KENOATH. It was just too much for me at the time, you know. Started doing a bit too much drinking, feeling bad about myself, and that's not what KENOATH's about. It's about feeling good. So, mate, we parked it, and I really didn't do a lot on Facebook there for a while. It really did. I think that the brand reflected where I was at. You know, it was a pretty bad spot there. But I kept on getting messages, you know, on Facebook, mate, when are you bringing the teas back? You know, or can you do this one? Or like, and it just was just it was just niggling away at me, you know. And I suppose, you know, a few things happened in my life, but I did get my mojo back, but it did take a couple of years. Yeah, so one of the things that finally made me just push the button on KENOATH again was, not long after Dad passed away, my mum got diagnosed with cancer. And it was pretty aggressive, and they said 3 weeks. So one of the things that Mum wanted to do with my sister and myself was to go on a cruise. It was a bucket list thing, and we scrambled to do a cruise, and we got the last 3 cabins on this cruise from Brisbane to Whitsundays and back. And we got on that cruise. Her condition had dropped a little bit, and we thought this was going to be touch and go. She passed away on the day we returned back to Brisbane. So it was a really special, magical time that we spent with Mum. And I had a really good night with her. I think it was the second last night in a cabin. I grabbed her hand and I was beside her, and I said, how would you have me live the rest of my life? And she said, be happy. And I know that doesn't sound so wise, but I thought pretty deep and hard about that over the next couple of weeks. And I thought, fuck it, I'm quitting the job. I'm walking away from the corporate world. I'm going to give myself 12 months to make KENOATH the go, and put my heart into it. And I'm going to do it not only for myself, of course for myself, but I've got to be happy. You know, and I can't have KENOATH or any other ideas that I've got parked away forever and drink myself into oblivion. I'm going to make this a go. And so about 9 months later we relaunched it. And it feels really good.
Absolutely. Oh man, you've actually given me a bit of a...
mate, it is a story, but we've all got these stories, and it's really important for people to chase that dream and just make it happen, you know, because you know, who would have thought that, you know, 6 months later a thing called, and I won't even say the word anymore, but it starts with C, is doing the same. And give me the, you know, there's pilots that earn squillings of money, and at the moment they're doing whatever they can to earn a quid. Now, you know, so why not leave the secure job and chase your dreams? So that's what we've done, and good on you. It's going well.
Very exciting, very exciting. I discovered KENOATH through images, pretty much. So it was images of beautiful Australian cars, beautiful Australian models, in beautiful Australian locations. So essentially, Australiana is the root of KENOATH.
It is.
And as you were saying earlier, a lot of the brands available here had dissipated.
and become American brands. Essentially, Australian brands became American brands.
Yeah.
And it was just exciting for me to see true Aussie art on a t-shirt.
You know, and I go back to 2006 and 2008, and you know, I don't know if you remember, but there was all these brands that became real skull and bones and kind of tattoo kind of art, and that was big for about 5 years. Ed Hardy and all these big brands that came and gone. I've gone, yeah, okay, that's cool, but it doesn't really speak to me. And then all of a sudden, everyone's wearing American college shirts. You know, like some Oregon State or Michigan University. You go down the beach, and there's some kid that's wearing that's all that's available in the shopping mall. And I've gone, this is crazy. Why don't we have shirts with Woi Woi or Wagga Wagga or Dubbo on them? You know, because for a time there, it just wasn't cool to be proudly Australian, and I think that's bullshit. You know, I've just come from Newcastle this morning. You look at the heritage in Newcastle and the beauty that's there. You look at the melting pot of Sydney. We should be proud of our heritage, and that's what KENOATH's about. It's not just about the cars and the surfing. It's actually about what it's like to be Australian. And KENOATH's all about, you know, positivity, affirmation, enthusiasm. And, you know, it's a bit of a broad church, our brand. You know, obviously our imagery is around the cars and surfing and all that, because visually that's a big part of it. But you know, like even one of our best selling t-shirts is Hogs. You know, Hogs just doing the thumbs up.
And he's just released a new movie too.
Has he?
I think it's only on Amazon Prime, but it's almost a piss tape of Crocodile Dundee. Shane Jacobson's in it, and
great guy.
I think Michael Cleese. Some crazy people in it.
And mate, you know, with KENOATH, you don't have to really dig too deep to unearth characters in our society. Like even this week, you know, just teeing up guys with their cars and their mates and your mates, and I just, everywhere we go, people are resonating with the brand. You know, not everyone does get it, and that's all. You know, that's great. But when you do explain KENOATH to someone that probably is not that familiar with the saying, it's part of the fun. It's like, does it really mean that? And you go, and I get it a lot when you're telling people your email address, and you're spelling it out, and they go, KENOATH. You go, KENOATH. And they hit the No, we're having a bit of fun with it.
That's good. That's good. So, you relaunched, the company's gone full time. How has COVID treated the company?
COVID was a bit of a shock to us, as it's been to, I'm ex-marine industry and ex-liquor industry. You know, and all the guys in the liquor industry just got smashed out of the ballpark. The marine industry was the same, because they were even locking up boat ramps. You know, you can't go out on the bay in your tinny by yourself, because it obliterated that industry. So it's funny, coming from a background where I was a service guy, I suppose, and selling and marketing for other companies, my heart sort of went back to all my mates and my industries that I've worked with. Mate, how you going? How you going? How you going? But to be honest with you, with KENOATH, the Thursday evening that Scott Morrison announced the P-word pandemic, mate, the sales stopped. And I said, took a deep breath, and the next couple of weeks I was looking at the sales coming in, and I thought, you know, we're in a bit of strife here, like just about everyone on the planet is, you know, running a small business. And but mate, like in the last couple of weeks, it's starting to build up to where we were back in January, February. Like January was just through the roof with Australia Day, obviously with KENOATH. And I don't know how many gold bucket hats we sold, but it was great. But we're nearly back up there. So you know, the thing was keeping ourselves steady and calm during it all. You know. And it's funny how the brand's resonating with our attitude. You know, and we've just committed to our next range and some really good plans. So. And it's just funny how now the sales are coming back, you know.
That's good.
It is good.
I look forward to the upcoming range. Alright, so looking into the future, where do you feel KENOATH's going in the near future? You
know, it's very easy for me to say I'm just going to surrender to the process and just see where it goes. And I in many ways I am doing that with this week and what we've got planned for the next couple of months. But no, we do have some big plans for the brand. The first thing was to see whether people resonated with it. And I think from what we've seen at Christmas time, Australia Day, and now again, people do love the brand. That was the first thing to you know, ascertain, I suppose. Because sometimes you look through I suppose, what, tainted glasses?
Rose-coloured glasses.
Rose-coloured glasses, and but yeah, it's like I had one guy the other day that bought 9 t-shirts off me.
Yeah.
9 t-shirts, and I just had to email. I said, mate, what are you got a touch footy team, or what's going on? He goes, mate, I just love your brand.
Yeah.
I just love what you're doing, and you know what it stands for, and so forth. And then he emailed me back, and he said, have you got any more of those bucket hats in stock? Because we ran out of stock.
Right.
And I said, mate, I've actually got 5 set aside for my mates. And I said, why is that? And he goes, I want to fit out my family.
Yeah, right.
And I said, mate, they're yours.
Yeah.
You know, and it's stuff like that kind of tells me, instead of internalising it, the brand's got a future. But we do have some plans, and the next range is based around wheels and waves.
Yeah, nice.
And we've got a couple of accessories coming out which are pretty cool. They're not. It's something a little bit new and authentic, so we're looking at that for Christmas, because Christmas is just around the corner. You wouldn't believe we're still only in July 2020. It's been the longest year of our lives, mate.
Yeah, exactly.
But you know, it's like post-war. People still say, you know, post-war as a term. You know?
Right. Yeah.
And I think the C word's going to be the same. You know, like what did you do after COVID? You know? And I think this year's going to be like that. And yeah, we're going to press on.
Yeah, awesome, man.
Yeah.
All right, one last question.
Yeah.
Dream car garage.
Oh.
You've got 4 spaces to fill in your garage.
Right.
What are you putting in there?
Okay, so the first one's, you're going to say that, but look, it's an XY GT.
Yep.
But you know, we're cruising tomorrow with a guy with a Fairmont GS.
Yep.
Pristine. Tan interior, and actually when I think about it, it's cars like that, you know, that resonate with me. You know, guys that you know, just revere what they were and don't change them. But I think the XY is the number one.
Yep.
The number 2 would be the XA GT.
Yes.
Now, either with the dark purple, was called oh gosh, not wild violet, but the dark purple, with the cream interior, with the moonroof. Right. Right. That thing does make me a bit tight in the pants. that there would be probably, that's number 2.
Yeah.
Okay, so probably 3 and 4. It's probably a bit different to probably what you think. A HR wagon.
Yeah. Okay.
HR Holden wagon.
I think my mate and his grandfather's one of those. Yeah.
Yeah. They're a pretty car. The EH wagon is obviously a really pretty station wagon. But the HR, mate, I know they weren't supposed to go around corners. The panel van, the ute, the sedan, of course. We had one up at Spot X the other day with the 350 Chev in it, powder blue, and I'm just drooling. But the wagon, I just think, and just a bit of a tip, that might be a T-shirt that's coming up for you HR fans. I'm just living my, you know, I'm living my life out on T-shirts.
Throttle down under inside there.
And yeah, probably number 4, I would have to go a Porsche. Yeah. Probably an early 71. 911. Yeah. Probably ratted a little bit, and not keep it to the purest, but yeah, something like a pure white 91.
Beautiful.
Sorry, 911, round about that 71. It's just
You'd be a Magnus Walker fan then.
Magnus Walker, and now there's a guy. Yeah. There's a guy that walks in a pub and go, mate, what do you do? Well, I'm this and I'm that. There's a guy that followed his nose and followed his dream. And I love his execution with his cars. There's a grittiness, an authenticity about it. And it's funny how you're now seeing so many other brands in other, like Land Rover. For example, I mean, you try and get a short wheelbase Land Rover now for Nick's. Nope.
That's right.
You know, and people are now looking at those kind of cars and going, yeah, they're classic. I mean, have you seen the new Ford Bronco coming out of the States?
Very exciting.
So, you know, those guys are understanding that shape and that DNA. Look at the Ford Mustang. When they finally fixed up the Ford Mustang, look what they did with it.
That's it, Ford's definitely doing the retro thing very well. Bringing it back, tugging on our heartstrings. But also appealing to a whole new market as well.
Absolutely.
Which is, if you can get the old blokes buying it as well as the young kids, you're winning.
Now, you probably might be disappointed I didn't say a Harley in the mix.
Not everyone's a bike person.
But look, I do have, going back to when I was a kid, I have fulfilled my bucket list with one of my rides, and that's the old Mongoose BMX bike. So we've we've had that in a few photo shoots.
You can see it just over his right shoulder there in that shot,
yeah. I didn't know you placed it there. So when my midlife crisis hit, I didn't want to get a red topless convertible. I wanted to get the pushy that I always dreamed about when I was a kid, and that had to be a mongoose, and it was even better that it was chrome molloy, and it was a super goose. So mate, I was top of the class when I bought that. But yeah, it's been great. We've had a lot of fun with it, and it actually looks really good in photo shoots because it is chrome. It's
it pops.
It really pops. And actually, talk about COVID. That's all I did for 3 weeks was just ride around on me pushy. You know, it was great.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
All right, mate. We'll just give your website a bit of a shout out.
Yeah, so we're www.kenoath.com.au, and in the gram we're KENOATH Clothing Company. So it's funny, in Instagram, if you type in KENOATH, I think there's about 25,000 blokes that call them KENOATH. I just wish everyone had bought a shirt, but yeah, so KENOATH Clothing Company for the Instagram handle, and the same for Facebook, but you type that in, you'll see us there. So yeah. And
definitely jump on, because there's some exciting things coming out, new designs, and even the old designs. I've got a Valiant on here. We've got a, what is it, a Falcon on there?
Yeah, so that's
XY wagon.
That's the XY wagon. So a very close mate of mine does the pen work, the pencil work for these ones. And at the moment there might be something coming that I mentioned a bit earlier. And Justin he does about, that one there was 50 hours pencil work into that. So
that's amazing.
That's kind of what we're putting into the brand, you know. It's not like a $50 design that we've just hired an artist, that's pure artwork. So we're actually going to put a range of these on canvases as well. And because they come up really neat on the canvas with a detail. Sometimes on the shirt, like if you stand a couple of metres away, you can't pick it up. But on a canvas, they come up really good. So
you'll be seeing some of them on the wall in the studio.
Absolutely, mate.
All right, thank you very much for your time. I appreciate it.
Oh, fantastic.
Enjoy your time in Sydney.
Thanks, mate.
Thanks, mate. Beautiful. Well done.
That was great.